where did we park? And you're looking around, and there's like 5 buildings that all look the same.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And there's no obvious like entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, and so we're walking around, and we keep like trying to figure out, and we start to walk into one, and we're like, no, does this look right? No. And then finally, Mallory remembers. She's like, wait, don't you have the Find My Tags in your...
There you go.
And the camera that's in the... I was like, yes. So then I pull up Find My and look up the little like air tag, and it's like, oh. And we were like, it's in this building. So then we go over to that building, and then go up to like the
Even without that though, Apple normally, like, if you look on maps, it usually says like where you're parked.
Does it?
Yeah, it usually does.
I thought I was looking on the maps. I didn't see it.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay. Sometimes I've seen that where it naturally sees where you,
like, hey,
and
you
if
drove
you get out.
and you stopped. And, Huh.
But no, it's even that though is normally not as accurate as obviously with the AirTag. That's
Yeah. So like it was like, oh, brilliant. Just like great idea.
That's good. Yeah.
And then it makes you think, well, maybe I'll just leave an AirTag in my car all the time.
It's a lot of things you should have AirTags on. I feel like I need AirTags on.
Yeah.
On a lot of stuff now.
Yeah. Put them on your kids.
Yep. I'm gonna do that as soon as our first baby comes out. Slap an AirTag on it.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time. I'm your host, Josh Youngbar, and Loverboy ought to lock his door. And today I have my co-host Jared with me.
No, I ain't no marriage counselor.
All right. If you didn't get it already, today we are talking about the movie Blood Simple. And this is kicking off our coverage of Coen Brothers, the director duo, writer duo, editor duo. They pretty much do it all.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, it's listed under a code name as it's basically that they're edited under. It's like a different name, but it's like basically it just means they edited it. Yeah. So Blood Simple came out 1984, rated R, an hour and 39 minutes. And our synopsis: the owner of a seedy small town Texas bar discovers that one of his employees is having an affair with his wife. A chaotic chain of misunderstandings, lies, and mischief ensues after he devises a plot to have them murdered. So like I said, Joel and Ethan Coen directed. Joel and Ethan Coen wrote. Our cinematographer is Barry Sonnenfeld.
Mm-hmm.
We will see his name pop up again in a few times.
Yeah.
With these guys, but also other things noted for was did the movie Big, When
Nice.
Harry Met Sally, and Misery are some of the other ones he's known for.
Cinematography? Because I think I saw he directed some movies too.
Yes, he moved on to do some producing and directing later as
Gotcha.
well. Yes, but for cinematography specifically, yeah. And then we have the music from Carter Burwell.
Mm-hmm.
We will see him pop up.
We'll see him a lot too, yeah.
Yes, in the future. Estimated production cost $1.5 million.
Yep.
Low budget.
Oh yeah.
Still a lot of money, but low budget. All right.
But not a lot of money for.
No, not for feature film.
Yeah, this is like crazy low budget. Yeah.
But that's still, when you think about it, you're like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our main talent, we have John Getz playing Ray, Frances McDormand playing Abby,
Mm-hmm.
Dan Hedaya, if that's how you say his last name, Julian playing Julian Marty, Emmett Walsh playing the private detective Lauren Visser.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for the cast. All right, so what's your overall thoughts on this movie, Jared?
Well, I wanted to talk about the budget a little bit because I did look that up. because I'm like, all right, I know this is their first movie, and I'm really amazed what all they did with this movie. Now knowing it was a million and a half, you said,
Mhm.
um, because now obviously it's still it looks like a first movie,
Mhm.
from a director, but still they did a lot with that money. I was impressed by that, but overall it's cool also just because I haven't seen all of the Coen Brothers movies, so this is awesome going through all of these, and I've never seen this one. I know
Right.
you
I have
haven't.
not.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I didn't realize this was even their first one. But you can definitely see the start of their style already,
Mm-hmm.
that they have.
Yep.
And what I think is cool also about this movie, and I think they kind of have this feel with some of their other movies, not all of them, is this one feels more like, even though it's 1984 when this came out, it feels more like a 70s like film noir style, which I know is something that they was a big influence with them, and it had that feel. It felt very much like a 70s movie to me.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I thought everything was done really well, especially on such a low budget, and very tight story also. And like you said, the length, like it's hour and a half. Um, let's see what else. Another thing I liked is a lot of the dialogue, and not just this film, more so in this one, and they do it with some of their other movies too. It's very slow and methodical. I've noticed, but never boring though. I don't think. And uh, the only thing I will say overall is I think the Coens, and this is evident in a lot of their movies, I think they do such a great job at building tension in their movies and in specific scenes. So I really like this movie
Hmm.
overall.
Okay.
What about you?
Overall, I wouldn't say I didn't like it, but I didn't love it. Like
Okay.
it was all right. Um, I feel like, let's say, like, I feel like there was a little bit of like a, so how to say this, the each of the scenes felt kind of random. It didn't feel as cohesive,
Mm-hmm.
and like it wasn't always logical. Makes sense that these people were here, then these people were here, and then these people were here. It's like it's kind of random, and just like, and it kind of works, but then it kind of also like there's times I'm like, why is this happening now? Like, why did this person do this? Or like,
I can
just
see that. Yeah.
I mean, even the opening, like, it's just like you're like, what the heck is happening? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. You're just like we just open in the middle of this thing, and you don't really know.
Yeah, I'm sure that was intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just like I'm just like who, I don't know. Like it's just like just those long dialogue of them in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, and like you said, the dialogue's it's written well,
Yeah.
but it's just I was like, what? Like this is not the way you open something that you want someone to. I mean, I guess that's the advantage you have over film over like TV is someone by the time they've decided to sit down in a theater, they're going to commit a little more time to it. But like if you were watching this for the first time on streaming, just flipping through stuff, I wouldn't stay and watch it because it's just like not like
Well, I think it's specifically that opening scene that seems very much that style that I think is a big influence with them.
yeah,
It feels like an older film
yeah,
noir
for sure.
type scene, and maybe that's why they decide to open it that way. Definitely felt that way. Also, well, even some of the dialogue in that scene and later too is, well, it was there's some pretty funny moments
Yes.
too for it not being that kind of movie.
Yes, yeah,
But
yeah, the way just some stuff the way it's said.
yeah.
I will say I'll say like the production quality of the audio kind of bugged me. It was just kind of like a harder to because it was just like kind of harsh but not well mixed and things like that. That I'm sure
Right.
some of it has to
Not
do with
the
like
not the score, but the actual
Yes.
audio.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure it was much more difficult shooting a lower budget thing with film and all that stuff than like it is, because like to me, I'm like, we do better audio than that in like an ad that we're not
Oh
even,
yeah.
like it's just not that hard to do now. And so just like one of those things where I know it's
Yeah.
part of
No,
the dated of the
it
shit, but
is
it's
for
like,
sure.
but it's it's one of those things that makes it harder.
No, I agree. There wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't great.
Um,
The audio. Yeah.
I did like the score though. Actually, the score I think was really good.
Not a lot of it, but
Right. Yeah, it's on
when
not
it was there, yeah, for sure.
But yeah. But yeah, it definitely feels like people, inexperienced filmmakers making something.
Yeah, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, mentioning the humor in this, that's also a big thing of theirs going forward. Like they
Yeah.
do a lot. They'll throw that in randomly. A lot of dark humor too,
Yeah,
like in their
yeah.
stuff. Like that's a signature thing with them. So it's cool.
Yeah.
They kind of have that already in this first movie.
Yeah. But yeah.
I do what. Yeah, I'm wondering. For me, like now, obviously, like this is also in the mid '80s, but $1.5 million. Like, do you think they? Because I think they did that very well in this movie to get everything across in this movie with that budget. Like, how do you feel about that? Did they execute on that well, or do you think they could have done better?
Because like, what would that?
I mean, it's very small. Like they're only in one set. Like they don't have a lot of,
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, location wise.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's being, I mean, if I had to make that now, I probably could do it for that now.
Really? Okay.
And then, and of course, $1.5 million now is probably more like 3 million.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I mean, obviously, I don't know how much went to the actors. Of course, so they weren't as well known. I mean,
Yeah, the guys, I don't know if they. Well, actually, I would say there's probably only one person on here because I looked him up that actually was already pretty well known. Probably he got paid the most, I would imagine. It's the Emmett Walsh, because I looked him up because like, yeah, he looks familiar. He was in Serpico, The Jerk, Blade Runner, Fletch, and A Time to Kill. Now, A Time to Kill was afterwards. I think the rest of those were
before.
Blade Runner was 84, actually, the same year, I want to say. But yeah, like Serpico and The Jerk was before this. So like those are very big movies. So he's probably the only one. I didn't, because even I wanted to, well, we can talk about her later, but this is Frances McDormand's first role too. Yeah. And so they got her started, and she's I think she's in a lot of the other Coen movies coming up. But I mean, she's great, and she's still huge now of an actor. So
yeah.
And I thought she was good in this.
Yeah. I think they
good start for her.
They did good. And the guy playing Ray.
Yeah.
Good. John Getz. Yeah. All right, so let's get into spoilers a little bit more. So just an overall story, plot, character stuff. So I think, I mean, I get, it's like one of those things I get but like the like just sequence of unfortunate events kind of thing, situation where it's like, I don't know, like it just, that's the kind of thing I think why I didn't love it was like, to me, I'm just like, what the heck? Like, anybody take any common sense at all and take a second to think about this and you'd be like, no.
Yeah. It all starts from, one decision at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it just all, escalates from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that can happen though.
One simple conversation.
I know, right?
And this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it, and it's kind of, it is the style of that. I think that movie that like you said that they're kind of using for inspiration. I think is kind of how that. So I think that's part of the reason. But yeah, but it was just kind of hard to fully get into the whole movie because of that. I think was the thing that yeah, and then like one thing they shoot a lot of stuff at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like helps hide like the surround. You don't have to have like as much fleshed out as far as surroundings and backgrounds and stuff if everything's darker.
That's true.
Like that, all the end stuff in that warehouse abandoned apartment thing that they were in, like at the end, is kind of like it could be just some random place anywhere, like
And I imagine I don't know why they wouldn't. This probably was shot in Texas, where the film actually took place. I don't know why it wouldn't
probably
be there. Yeah, but yeah, very, like you were saying, it's very. Yeah, we have like the bar, and then just like the surrounding area. That's it. And then like you said the warehouse at the end. That's really because
his
the house,
apartment, his like the house apartment,
but
Ray's house apartment.
But like all that is like where they filmed it. It's like that was probably all very close to it.
But like
so.
But all those sets are, if you use the real locations and just dressing them up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not, like I said, like could pull it off. And I mean, like again, I don't want to belittle what they did because like I think at the time, film is very expensive. All the
right,
and then of course all that gear like was way harder to manage and use. Because everything's bigger and bulkier and heavier than stuff is now. So, but yeah. The I don't know. I think so. Who did you like best performance wise?
Best, I'm not sure because I thought everyone did great acting wise. My favorite, and I think who did the best is it Abby? That's Frances McDormand. Yeah, I think her name's Abby.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, Emmett Walsh, whoever he's playing the detective or whatever, like just because he's such a weird, a
weasel kind of a guy.
Yeah, and I feel like he plays that character in other movies too, like but he's definitely like what they call that, like chewing the scenery, like in that kind of way with his the way he the way his dialogue is. But I thought he was good though, because a lot of stuff he said too was just like just out of pocket, like just some of the stuff he said was just really funny too. And I liked the it was near the beginning, kind of was a little bit of a foreshadow too, where I forgot to write down the actual line. Where when he gets up and he says something about like, oh man, it's been a while since I watched this now because we were gonna do this last week. About like he's like, if you kill me or cut my head off, I'll still, he says something about like I'll still be around or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a good line.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for not knowing the exact line. I should have wrote it down. But anyway, that was near the beginning when he first sat down with them about it. But yeah.
I mean, I like.
Yeah, who was your favorite?
Well, I don't know. I like the Ray guy. Like I like his.
Okay.
I feel like. Well, it's just like it was funny. Like, even like the because she even like says that line about like she's like says something about like him like how everything he says without saying anything.
Yeah.
And I think like the actor did a great job of like conveying. He would barely ever talk, but like he conveyed everything very well.
True.
No, I was just thinking of like the doctored photo to make it look like they died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like definitely pre-Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
But like
it is.
It's you're like, is that convincing? It doesn't.
I know. It's like that's creative that they did that, but it's like they didn't really do much to it. And like, yeah, is that convincing enough? I mean, maybe at the time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny though. How they did that.
Um, yeah. So cinematography,
Oh, we can.
unless you got other stuff you want to cover. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I only got two things that I was
Yeah.
gonna
Then go
before
for
we
it.
get into cinematography.
Yeah.
Well, I'll save one of those that kind of can lead into cinematography. So the one scene I want to talk about was, I think it's kind of near the middle, and it's the scene where Ray is burying Marty like in the middle of nowhere, right when he gets out of the car. And what's crazy is that whole scene. I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie. And I was looking because I was like, this is a very long scene, and I think it's. So then I looked it up. Apparently, it's a 13-minute long scene with no dialogue at all, which I thought, I was like, that's pretty cool because I mean, there's a lot that happens in that, and I like the when he holds up the gun and and it. Well, you see that from before. There's 3 bullets in it. He pulls it 3 times and it doesn't go off. So it's like the fact that it just. Any other way that would not go that way, but it's like he had a very slim chance of that happening with
Well, that's the kind of stuff. Is like, no, it is funny, but then like at the same time, you're like, why is Ray just standing there?
That is weird. Yeah,
And you're like, why is he standing there and waiting? And he's kind of like, I mean, like I'm like, okay, I get it. Maybe you're exhausted, but you still would move.
No, yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's like I'm sure they direct him that way, where it's like,
Yeah.
you need to do this because it's more dramatic. But like, yeah, realistically, why would you do that? I agree. Yeah, that is not ideal. Because again, that was a very slim chance of that going in your favor. But no, I thought it was good though, and I mean, I like how they do little like with the. Again, I think this is another start to like what they do with a lot of their movies is like they set up stuff really well and then pay it off later like that. Because even like his finger being broken and like he can't, so he's even slower to even like use the trigger, and like you see all that set up before it.
Yeah.
So I think they do those kind of things really well. Like, and I don't think there's anything like if they do like intentionally set up something or actually like really hold on something, so like, okay, this is something I need to remember. I think it always pays off. Like, I don't think there's anything in this movie that they like set up that they don't really, I'm trying to think if there's anything.
No, I think they do a good job of that. Like,
yeah.
No, I think it was, like you said, it was a tight script.
Yeah, it definitely was.
With like those things, yeah.
And then the other scene, which is actually the scene you were mentioning before that I wanted to talk about, the opening scene where they're driving and talking. What I really liked about it is every time a car would come by, that's when there'd be like the next credit would show up over the light. I thought it was a cool effect. That probably is another old like film thing they probably kind of went off of.
It's also something it's like that kind of thing is harder to pull off.
Yeah,
pre-digital.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like now it's like that's easy to do, but
yeah.
But you're right. It did look nice the way they did that.
Yeah. That's it for my notes there. But yeah, I guess that's kind of cinematography. But
yeah. No, I was just gonna. I mean, in the cinematography, like I think in general, like it was fine. There was nothing like amazing, I would say, about it. They definitely went for the harsher shadow film noir kind of vibe, and then which I think is intentional, right?
Yeah.
I know that there's a couple interesting where they'd pan up to a fan and then come down and it'd be in a different spot.
Yeah.
And so those were little clever tricks that again are much easier to do now, and people do that kind of stuff now a lot more. But back then was probably a little more novel and if not like innovative. And I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely noticed those two. I didn't write them down, but that was cool how they did those. Yeah.
But I mean, it was it's cool. It was cool. It just
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see with other stuff he's done too. Because I don't know, like, was this very early in his career? Barry Sonnenfeld? I don't know. with
Oh, yeah.
cinematography. I don't know
Yeah.
like what he did before this, but I have like two scenes in particular. Uh, I'll say like at the very end because this one's like cool, but it's like not as unique. At the end, I thought it was a cool lighting thing where when the bullets were going through the wall at
Mhm.
the end, the
Yeah.
light shining through. Like I thought that was cool how
Yeah.
they did that. And then the other shot, which I think was the most unique one, but again, not completely unique uh, because on Film Banter we recently did this movie, which is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they literally do this move with the camera that's was first done in that very first movie. It's when it's near the beginning. It's when Marty grabs Abby and they run out of the house and he grabs her, right? And they're like on the front, kind of right in front of the house.
Mhm.
Um, this is let's see, yeah, and then the camera's really far away and then it runs up really close to them. You know what I'm talking about? That shot there. So they do that exactly, and it's even almost the same thing because it's when Leatherface is like holding the girl in the front of the house, and they don't do the exact same camera thing, but a similar type of thing. I want to say the other thing that probably is an influence for them that does do that same type of movement is, oh man, you're gonna probably remember his name because I forget now. The guy that did Evil Dead because he kind of pioneered that filming trick.
Oh, Sam Raimi.
Yes,
Yeah.
because he did that with like that POV camera that's like that really fast moving. And it kind of reminded me of that, but I like how they kind of mix that with then kind of so it's that fast run in because I can't imagine that was easy to do at that time, right? That kind of camera.
Um, I guess you do a quick push on a dolly. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like it would have to be them just running, but then it would be probably not
It's
stable enough,
hard
right?
to run with a film camera for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but because it still seemed pretty smooth, but it almost felt like it was someone running. But like, they had dollies that fast at that time that could do that?
I mean, just somebody run behind the dolly and push it.
Sure, yeah, I guess. Okay,
I mean, I don't know.
yeah, that was the only thing. It was that scene. I thought that was cool. What they did with that.
and I have to I'd have to go back and watch it to like to say like again. I didn't think I was going to cover this. I watched it on the plane. You know, like while I was flying around and not taking notes.
Yeah, that's okay.
So like it's like
That's all right. I took more than I thought I would for this movie, actually.
Yeah.
Just overall, but
yeah, yeah. And so I also was watching it on an iPad. Like it was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So like yeah, um, yeah. So what about the score?
yeah. So I wanted to mention. Well, you mentioned his name already, Carter Burwell.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to mention some of the stuff he's done. Obviously, he does a lot of Coen movies, so we'll talk about him a lot, which is cool. I like that we're gonna do a director composer combo again, like Sam Mendes, and not so much with Denny. He had a couple with not as much like overall.
Yeah, cinematographer you used.
Yeah,
a couple
what
times.
about Edgar Wright?
Uh,
I can't remember if he used a lot of the same.
music people.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't know, but so some of the other stuff he's done besides that, pretty random. Airheads,
Oh.
a Goofy movie, The Jackal, being John Malkovich, and then all the Twilight movies apparently. These last couple are little newer, more newer, good movies I think are great. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, In Bruges, and then this is the most random one. The most recent thing because he hasn't done much recently, but he's doing the morning show.
Oh,
I'm like, what? This is so random. Like this is the thing he's doing now. So yeah,
okay.
very interesting.
That is interesting.
But yeah, I kind of already mentioned it. Yeah, there's not much score.
Wait, it's not always there.
No, it's not. There's only really one main theme. That's a piano theme, which I think is really good actually. That they kind of use a couple of times throughout. Yeah. But besides that, the only thing they use, which I still think is really good, because it's very subtle, high and low, just like very in the background too, synth, over more dramatic scenes. That's really, I think, the only time they really use that. And that's about it. But I did want to mention, shout out to the song that they play at least 3 times through the movie.
Mm-hmm.
First time is when he plays on the jukebox, which is also a cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
And he, you remember that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, speaking of shots, another cool shot where they stop at his feet and he does that move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That's true. Yeah.
The song is called "It's the Same Old Song" by the Four Tops. It's a great song. So I wanted to mention that because it goes over the credits too. And I want to say there's one other time in the movie it plays. Oh, it does. You know what? It's right after he hears it, like in the other side of the bar. Do you remember that? Right after what's his name dies. When he hears it, it starts playing. He's in the back room, I want to say, and he hears it kind of in the distance, I think. So at least 3 times, but yeah, that's it though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything else? I guess you kind of already mentioned what you did like it, the score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I like it. I mean, yeah, I think it was especially the piano thing that you were talking about. I think
That was the main theme.
That main theme that kind of stood out. But I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like how it helped build the tension and stuff in the scenes.
Yeah.
All right. So your favorite question.
Yeah.
What are the writers and directors trying to say through this film, if anything?
I put Texas is a wild place, and I would just say they kind of say it in the opening voiceover. In Texas, you're on your own.
Okay.
That's kind of, I think that's the last thing he says even before when he's doing the voiceover, and then it goes to that first scene afterwards. I want to say that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was going a little more like, I guess it was cynical. Like I was like what I was talking about earlier. It's like, yeah. Maybe just talk to somebody instead of assuming. That's what this whole movie's premise is. Like,
yeah, and I love that's
what
what
happens to assume. You assume
exactly, and that's why I did my intro quote was now I ain't a marriage counselor because it's like 3 different people say that throughout the movie, and they say it several times too, and it made me laugh every time because it's like the thing they book in their like point with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like was that on Curb where he's like, as long as you say with all due respect, you know, it's like everything you say is fine. It's like I feel like it's that kind of thing with them saying that because they'll say their thing and they're like, no, I ain't a marriage counselor.
With all due respect.
Yeah. So that's what it reminded me of. That made me laugh.
Yeah. Because they do say that a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's but no, yeah. I think I was trying to say it was a little crazy, but it is like, again, just being in Texas recently, but also just being in a couple of places, driving from seeing the desert, driving from Las Vegas to California, and you're like,
it's crazy.
You're like, okay, I can see how people could just bury bodies, and never ever be found.
We did that drive a lot because we played in Vegas a lot, and then we would go from there to California to Sherman Oaks, I think, because that was where our record label was. Okay. So like, yeah, we would do that drive a lot. It is crazy.
Yeah,
how much is like in between of just nothing. Yeah,
and you're like, wow. And then also made me think like, what caused them to build Vegas? Like, why is that even there? Right? Like it's like,
and why is there still like that much nothing around it? Yeah. You think it'd be a lot more now?
Yeah.
I
don't know, and it was a thought I had, and when I was having the thought, I was like, maybe I should look this up at some point, just because kind of curious now, like, because I mean, like when you look at the East Coast, like it's kind of obvious where all the bigger cities are, is like, because it's like right sitting on water somewhere or something. Like it's just like logic explanations of why people settled there and then they built there. Las Vegas, it's doesn't really make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But I'm sure there's a reason. and just need to look it up.
Something you shouldn't think about too much is all that space. Um, I don't think you want to know what all is buried in those vast open areas in between Vegas and the surrounding
Oh,
area.
no. Well, like when they talk about like, was it the one lake or pond near Vegas that like when it actually got low on the drought, like a bigger drought, and there was like they found bodies.
I mean, that's not surprising.
You're like,
In Vegas, it's probably all kinds of people got murdered at some
Yeah.
point. And
especially when the mob was there.
exactly, especially then. Yeah, that's probably what they were from. Yep.
The mob ran the place.
Yep.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts?
Nope. I could see this kind of thing definitely happening in Texas, though. Especially like where they were. I mean, it's definitely a middle of nowhere type area in Texas. Very small town. Because I don't think they said the name of the town, did they? I don't remember them ever saying.
Think so.
Or where exactly in Texas they are. What I really like thinking about, though, this is just like a nerdy headcanon thing for me, is because the Coens also directed No Country for Old Men, which is one of my favorite movies. And that takes place in Texas. I like to think that like that's also, you know what? Actually, that kind of supports my theory even more, because I believe that also takes place in like the early 80s. I like to think that those events are happening like, because it's also in the middle of nowhere, Texas, like a little ways down from this happening. Yeah, that's my headcanon for this.
And now you're saying that there was something. Oh, what? I don't know now what. There was something where that kind of similar thing happened where I was like, oh, like that could mean that these two worlds are actually.
I think about that stuff a lot.
Yeah, like it was like, oh, this, and I was like, had that thought, but about something, and this is terrible that I can't. This makes no sense to anybody right now, but yeah,
I have a lot of examples like that. I do that with like different things I like. I'll try to connect them if they have any through lines.
Universe.
Yep.
What was that? It was like a clever thing. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Is this something recent?
It was something I thought about just recently, so I don't know what it would have been. I don't know.
Oh, you want to do your Empire of Light?
Oh,
thoughts? I forgot to do that up top.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's also we talked about a lot in the pod of the cinematography, because it's your boy again.
Yeah. So the cinematography is beautiful.
Yeah,
it is beautiful. It was also a odd feeling watching that movie. I was actually watching that on the plane. I can't remember if it was. I think it wasn't the first flight. So it was like after but basically, we're going to all these movie theaters and filming in movie theaters, and then I'm watching this movie about a movie theater, and it was just, there's something meta about that, and just like, but also like looking at it and be like, oh my gosh, I wish we could film scenes like some of those scenes, like that, like one of the early shots where she's just like turning stuff on, and and it's just like the camera's just sitting there, it's framed so beautifully, and she's just going around turning the lights on, and I'm like, ooh, we need to do this, but not that we could, because we didn't have a theater like that to film in.
Yeah.
But it was just a cool scene. Yeah, and it's just, it was a lot of beautiful shots in that. But yeah, Deakins is a skilled craftsman. So
yep.
So yeah, that part, loved that stuff in it, and actually, in general, enjoyed the movie. Thought it wasn't bad.
Okay.
It wasn't as good as some of his other stuff. No. But it was an interesting choice. And I also think it's funny how I feel like a lot of movie director, whatever, writers, all eventually end up doing that movie that kind of is like, save the cinema, the movie theater matters, right? And that's that's what this one was.
Definitely.
for him, and I'm not thinking of any. I can't think of any other ones on the top of my head, but I know it's like a thing. Like if you've been a director for a while, like then it's like, oh, I got to do my.
Damien Chazelle just did it with Babylon.
Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go. Yes, there you go. But just like it's a thing that they do.
It is.
So, well, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is kind of
Yes.
that is Quentin Tarantino's version.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just because you basically, if you're making movies for the big screen, you have a appreciation and a care about it. And of course, even nowadays with streaming and stuff, it's even more of a thing that divides people. And people are very pro, and then other people are just like, yeah, no, whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I like that. Now I think the actors, the leads, like they were all really good.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the scenes, like especially the first like stuff with them going up to the old extra theater that was like kind of like abandoned and never looked like the
Oh, yeah.
space that was up, and then the upstairs space that they like, that stuff was really cool. That space was cool. Yeah. No, the little like side plot of like the romance between
Yeah.
the old lady and the younger guy, that was a little odd.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it, I don't know. Like it was believable enough, and and eventually kind of came back around where he was moving on, and it just kind of it's something he needed in that moment to have, and she needed in that moment. But then, yeah,
The scene, I think I want to say Lucas probably agreed with me too, that we thought was like the best scene was them actually loading and doing all this stuff with the projector, and then the I don't remember his name, the guy that was the project,
Projectionist.
yeah, like explaining all of
Yes.
it.
And when they do the cutover,
Mm-hmm.
and he like times it all, and he's
Yeah.
like, and it's like, yeah, and he's so excited. Yeah, you're right. That stuff's done really well.
Yeah.
But again, it's like the love story to about a movie theater.
It
It's
is.
like really what the and
I that's what I think I opened that pot with. It's a love letter to cinema. That's literally what he
but
was
it's like
doing.
I feel like that every director does.
They do, yeah.
Like big screen director like does that eventually.
Save the cinema, yeah.
Which I
It's
mean,
good at-
which I appreciate. I'm not like
No, yeah, but
not
now you're
knocking.
saying about the Apple Vision Pro, it's like that's gonna might take it away.
It's a so the thing you lose right now, and I'll just say, is it's a very isolated experience,
Yeah.
and it's almost, it kills me because, at least especially with my personality,
Mm-hmm.
if I see something, I'm like, oh, it's really cool, I want to show it to other people experience it as well. And I think a lot of people are that way, but not everybody. Some people are like fine with just doing things on their own. But like I definitely am more of a communal, I'd rather experience something with other people than just by myself.
Yeah.
And so then I'm in the Vision Pro, and I'm like experiencing stuff, and I'm like, this thing is crazy cool, but
You-
like no one else can see it.
You want to be able to like turn
And
to
everyone's like,
like
can
right
you
left.
see what I'm looking at? This
yeah.
is it. And it's like, no, they can't see it.
Maybe do it eventually. We'll have everyone else.
again,
I'm sure they can do that.
That's a software issue.
Yeah.
Not a hardware issue.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be a point where you can sit next to somebody and watch something together. But right now,
But then
you
the
can't.
problem is like at that point, that's like the dystopian future Black Mirror thing you see where everyone just lives with those things
Yep.
on, you
Yes.
know, because you don't need to ever take it off. And then it's like, then we're at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
It's true. It's true. But I mean, it's just like anything. I mean, the same
Yeah.
thing with our phones.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a choice.
It is a choice. Yeah.
It's a choice. And like, yeah, people will abuse things, but then other people will. And then eventually you will learn to adjust and kind of have
Yeah.
a healthy balance of things, I think. Most people.
Man, well, it's probably just me becoming an old man. I keep moving like further and further away of like always being on my phone. Like the older I get, the less I'm on my phone
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all in all, I'm looking forward to see, and I haven't even looked at it, but I'm looking forward to see what he does next. Because I feel like
Definitely.
there was also like something, because I mean, 1917 was such a
Yeah.
undertaking
It was.
of a project. I'm sure that he needed something that was like a little more simple,
Mm-hmm.
that was more of a character
Well,
drama.
it's just like he did that earlier. What was what did he do? And then he did Away We Go, right? Very small movie.
Right after both James Bond movies, right?
No, that was before
Or was it
Bond.
before Bond? Then it was right after he did some other. What did he do?
I can't remember. Like, because we were talking about with that movie, very small scale, and I think he did it in like a year also.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a little bit bigger than that, but not major.
right.
Um,
But still, wait, yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's what, which sucks because I would like him to just keep going with Dune, but I think Denny Villeneuve is going to do something very small because I keep seeing interviews of him. He's like, this killed me to do both of these movies.
Back to back.
Yeah.
But then they aren't they talking about doing the second
Dune
book?
Messiah.
Yeah, and he like kind of like said he was just doing
He
it.
was basically like, I need to rest,
Mhm.
but maybe.
Mhm. Yeah. So which means he'll probably do it, just not right away.
Yeah, he'll probably do something small. Like, yeah, I think.
But
Yeah,
then you
next.
need to cleanse the palate
Yeah.
as a
By
creative.
the way, I don't know whenever this comes out, this pod, because the movie might be out already, but I've been hearing Dune 2 is a masterpiece
Nice.
already, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, part 1 was almost a masterpiece, I think.
Everyone was really
So,
good. Yeah.
man, Denny doesn't miss. He's
He's
one of the best.
He's really cementing himself as
Yeah.
that like he just keeps
Heater after heater.
delivering at one after another. Yeah.
Yep.
Quality. Would like him to see him. I would like to see him go back and do something a little more, just like not quite so massive. Like, doing another Sicario or Prisoners. Like do something.
Oh, yeah.
Like in that realm. That's
Or even Enemy, which was even
Yeah.
more smaller scale. Yeah.
But just like doing something like that because even those were good.
Yeah,
And he
they
did a
were.
good- so yeah, it'd be good to have him like kind of just like take a breather, focus on character drama like that. Those and yeah, I think that'd be cool to see, and then go back and do Doom Messiah.
I hope so. Because I did see an interview where he said, he was basically like, I need a rest, but maybe. But then he also said like, maybe another director can do that one. But I'm like, and I'm not saying any other director couldn't do it, but it's like if it's not him, it's not gonna be the same.
You're gonna end up with the problem with The Hobbit,
Yeah,
where they try to get other people to do it, and then it wasn't working out, and then Peter Jackson to step in last minute, and then it like
but the problem is that
not new.
if they want to keep going with it, they could do so many Dune movies because there's so many books that like he's gonna stop at some point. Like he can't do all of them. It's not like just like the Lord of the Rings trilogy and that's it, and like be done. So I don't know.
They're still doing the show.
They are doing Dune, the Sisterhood. I don't know if it's still called that.
Yeah,
Or are you talking about Lord of the Rings?
doing the sister.
Okay. They are. I don't know who is the showrunner or director,
Yeah,
but I hope it's good because I would like any more.
I'm just saying like that might be an opportunity. Like someone, if that is good, to be like, oh,
Then you could do a movie, yeah.
hey, why don't you do this movie? And
Yeah.
I don't know, just so that's good transition there. I think it's. I mean, I tried to keep that short so we not go too long on the Empire Light, but
Yeah.
So then next, Raising Arizona.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be good.
I actually have seen this movie.
I think I have a very long time ago, so I don't.
Yes. Same. I was like a teenager.
Yeah, I feel like
Actually,
So-
Aunt May and Uncle Fred showed this movie.
nice. So I don't know how. Probably gonna be like.
But so I don't really remember.
No.
It, but I did see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember really liking it, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
All right. Well, let us know what have you seen Blood Simple? I mean, I feel like it's definitely a lesser known Coen Brothers film. Leave us a comment, your thoughts, or go watch it and check it out and then let us know. Or you can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com. And please like and subscribe on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and that way you don't miss any episodes. And Yeah, if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can follow me at jyoungbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. And we will talk to you guys next week.